In every game, there's bound to be Pokemon you never used before, whether it's because you never seen them in the game before, you look at them and instantly hate them, or when you finally evolve them and suddenly they can't learn any new moves. Now, who thought that was a good idea? Anyways, there's a bunch of reasons for not using Pokemon, and today's the day where I use Pokemon I never used before in Ruby. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are games I used to play a lot as a kid, so we won't be using any starter Pokemon as I've used all of them before. So after picking a random starter, we save Birch and battle May, who will be our rival for this game, and now we can finally start our journey. On Route 101, we can catch our first member being Wurmple, and the reason why I never used one before was because I didn't really like bug types, as they're usually weak and don't have a good moveset. I also forgot to name him, but we'll figure that out later. My first thoughts are, okay, so which one will I get? As Wurmple can evolve into two different forms, so will I get Beautifly or will I get Dustox? But I don't think it matters too much besides design. Don't give me Dustox. On Route 103, we can get our next member Wingull that we named Franklin, and yes, I know it doesn't say that, but we'll fix it when we get there. Now, the reason why I never used one before was because every time I ran into one, all they did was spam Supersonic and never let me leave. So I always hated it. I actually never thought I was gonna use one, so this is kind of funny to me. Anyways, I feel like this will be a Pokemon I probably still hate, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't good, as water types are pretty good in this game. The last Pokemon we get is Surskit, and it makes so much sense why I never saw one of these. Apparently it's a 1% encounter, and I say apparently, but I never ended up finding one, so it gotta be true. I gave up, but we'll come back for it later. Spoiler, I never went back. We head to Petalburg City and go straight to the gym where we meet our dad and also this guy named Wally. He's also our rival, but we'll only see him like 3 more times and that's it. On our way to Rustboro City, Wurmple fully evolves into Beautifly, and I thought for sure we were gonna get Dustox, as I usually get the one I don't want. After that, we head to Route 116 to get some more Pokemon, and you might be wondering, is this really our team? No. The main reason is that half of our team is after Watson, so we somehow gotta beat him with what we got here, which isn't that good, so it's gonna be rough. Alright, so first is Nincada, and his name is Stanley, and yes, I forgot to add his name again, but we'll fix it, I swear. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I would just ignore it. To me, it's one of those Pokemon that you just go by without a second thought. So I don't really have any expectations for it. I didn't even do any research for it, so I'm not even sure what it's gonna do. The next Pokemon we get is Whismur, and we name him Gummy Bear. Now, to me, this Pokemon is even worse than Nincada. I forgot this was even a Pokemon. The main reason why I don't like it is that it's just ugly. I still think it's ugly, but this time I'm actually super excited to use it, as its special attack and base attack are pretty solid. I mean, nothing crazy, but we can teach it a lot of stuff, so I think it's gonna be fun. The last Pokemon we get is Skitty, and I didn't know this was a 1% encounter. This took almost an hour to find, I swear. Every time I play this game, I'll run into like 6 of them without even trying. I didn't even realize that they're rare, and now that I want one, it takes forever to pop up. The reason why I never used one before was just because it wasn't cool. I mean, yeah, it's cute, but back in the day, if it didn't look cool, get out of here. I don't want it. So I just never gave it a chance. But I really have a good feeling about this Pokemon. I don't know what it is, but it's just giving me like flashbacks to using Clefairy for the first time. I think it's going to be a really good Pokemon. It's probably not going to be able to take a lot of hits, but I think it can hit hard. We name her Hilda, and with that, we can finally face our first gym leader, Roxanne. With Beautifly, we use a couple absorbs to knock out Geodude. She sends out Nosepass, and we were only able to land 1 absorb before getting knocked out by Rock Tomb. We send out Franklin and use Water Gun, doing massive damage while they use Rock Tomb, leaving us with red HP. But after that, we use 2 more Water Guns to win the fight. Honestly, I didn't expect Beautifly to learn Absorb, so that was really useful for the first gym, even though we got 1 shot. I also thought Beautifly and Franklin were gonna do more damage, but I guess it's fine. We also run into a Team Magma Grunt stealing something, so we chase after him and also find out he stole someone's Pokemon as well. So we beat him up, give this guy his Pokemon back, where he tells us we can ride his boat to different areas, so that's cool. We also give this guy his stolen item back, but now he tells us if we can help him out delivering something in a different town, but we don't have much of a choice. So we get on the old man's boat and head to Dewford Town, where we can also fight our next gym leader, Brawly, so we might as well. With Franklin, we use Supersonic that actually worked, as they kept hitting themselves while we use Wing Attack to knock them out. His next Pokemon is Makuhita, and we use Supersonic again, but it didn't work as they still used 2 bulk ups, raising his attack and defense. We did manage to land a crit, but it wasn't enough and they heal. So after that, we spam wing attack until we got hit with arm thrust to knock us out. We sent out Beautyfly and for some reason, all they did was use knockoff, not doing much. So after a couple gusts, we win the fight. And that left me more confused than anything. I'm pretty sure we would have been in trouble if they just kept using arm thrust, but hey, I ain't complaining. Honestly, I thought for sure we were gonna either 1 or 2 shot them with Beautyfly or Franklin, but they don't hit as hard as I thought, so that's a little concerning. But I still find it cool that all they did was use knockoff, doing nothing, while we spam Gust to eventually win. I think it's because we're strong against dark type moves, but don't quote me on that. All these years of playing Pokemon and I still don't know what's weak to what. Alright, for real, we can deliver that letter now, so we head to Granite Cave, where we can also get another Pokemon being Nosepass, as it's going to be somewhat useful for Watson. We can get one by smashing rocks, where I realized you can't use Rock Smash outside of battle until after you beat Watson. Oh, well that's not good. Any plans I had just went straight out the window. I genuinely don't know how we're going to beat Watson, so you know what? I'll let future me handle that. In the meantime, we got some story to do, so let's speedrun this. Alright, this time we actually give the letter to Steven, travel across the sea, talk to this dude, head to the museum, fight some bad guys, and give this guy something. With that, we head around 110 where we run into May and we fight and we get absolutely destroyed. Once she sends out Combuskin, it was a wrap. They had super effective moves that took out the rest of our team no problem. I thought we just got a little unlucky, but we try again and it was even worse. Oh man, that was rough. Fine, she's forced my hand. We level up and try again. And honestly, it still wasn't looking good as Welmer used Rollout doing massive damage, taking out Beautyfly, Hilda, and Gummy Bear. But we finally had some luck with Stanley using Fury Swipes to knock her out. Her next Pokemon was Combuskin and they take out Stanley, but it didn't matter as we sent out Franklin and used Water Gun to one-shot them. After that, we used Wing Attack on Shroomish to win the fight, and I'm not gonna lie, that took me like 6 tries. Either we got destroyed by Rollout, or we lost Franklin before Combuskin came out. Overall, Franklin is probably my best Pokemon so far, as it's really useful in a lot of situations. Unfortunately. We make it to Mauville City, but before we can face the gym, we run into Wally and fight, and he didn't stand a chance. Now that's how that May fight was supposed to go. Anyways, we evolve Stanley into Ninjask, and we finally know what it's gonna do. Spam Screech. Not only that, we get a whole new Pokemon just for evolving Stanley being Shed Ninja. All you need to do is have one empty spot in your party to get it, and apparently it's really broken, but since I don't know what I'm doing, I'm probably not gonna use him right. We also evolved Gummy Bear into a Loudred. After that, we tried facing Watson, but we would get whooped. Half of our team is weak to electric types, so those Pokemon didn't stand a chance. We also would get hit with self-destruct, or we just couldn't do enough damage, eventually going down. It was not looking good, and I'm talking like 2 hours in and nothing. It was so bad, I remembered we still had to rename our Pokemon, so I went to go do that. We also go back to Route 110 and get another Pokemon being Gulpin that we named Patrick. The reason why I never used one before was because I thought it had a lame design and I almost used the same Pokemon all the time, so I never got around to it. My first thoughts are it's going to be really useful when I need to use him, but I don't think we're going to use him that often. But there's only one way to find out, and after a couple more attempts, this happened. We tried using Sing with Hilda, but we miss and get hit with Thunder Wave. We eat a berry to cure it and we do it again, and this time we land it and we use 2 Tail Whips before they wake up and land another Thunder Wave. After that, we miss a couple times until we finally land a Sing and switch into Gummy Bear, where I messed up and clicked Supersonic instead of Rock Smash. Not only did we end up missing, but Magnemite woke up and used Sonic Boom. What a bad start. After that, we get hit with Thunder Wave, but we eat a berry and then land a Rock Smash, also lowering their defense. So after taking a hit from Thunder Shock, we use another Rock Smash, thinking it's gonna go down, but they live with 1 HP. How unlucky. They heal and also miss a Supersonic, and we use Rock Smash again to finally knock them out. His next Pokemon is Voltorb, and once we put him to sleep, we set up multiple amnesias, sharply raising our special defense, but it was all for nothing as when they wake up, they just use self-destruct. His last Pokemon is Magneton, so we sent out Hilda to try and use Sing, but we were slower and they used Shockwave to knock us out. We send out Beautyfly and we go first using Stun Spore, so they couldn't move for a while, so we just started spamming whatever did the most damage until they finally moved and used Shockwave to knock us out. We send out Shed Ninja and we start cheating. I don't know how it works, but all I know is that Magneton can't hit us directly, but they can knock us out if we hit ourselves from Supersonic. So we spam Screech until we couldn't no more and then start using Fury Cutter until we finally hit ourselves going down. We send out Gummy Bear and hope for the best. Oh no! Stop! 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 Quick! 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 Oh my! I was so close! Man, I found this so funny. I was genuinely salty. So after losing, we lose some more where we finally catch a break. We take out Magnemite the same way. We put it asleep, lower its defense, and then spam Rock Smash until it goes down. The same thing happens with Voltorb and they use Self-Destruct, but we were able to make them use a Super Potion, so it wasn't that bad. And finally, Magneton comes out and we send out Beautyfly and we were able to land a Stun Spore before going down to a Shockwave. We send out Shed Ninja and spam Screech until we couldn't no more, and all we need to do now is spam Fury Cutter until we eventually hit ourselves. But that never happened and we win, and I'm gonna be honest, it didn't feel good. I was expecting Gummy Bear to swoop in with 19 HP and save the day, but that never happened. I spent 6 hours here just for that to happen, but at the same time, I'm ready to get out of here. 6 hours too many. Pokemon wise, any of our Pokemon that put other Pokemon to sleep or lowered their defense were just perfect. I will say Gummy Bear isn't as good as I was hoping, as it doesn't do much damage unless we lower their defense. But at the same time, Rock Smash has the power of like 20, so it's not really a good move either. We make it to Followbird Town and head to Route 114 to catch 2 new Pokemon, being Swablu and Zangoose, that we named Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Now if you guys watch wrestling, then you know who these guys are, and they're just old school wrestlers and they're awesome. So no, it's nothing weird, okay? That's just their names. I didn't think about it until we were at the league, so yeah, I thought I'd get that out the way. In any case, the reason why I never used Zangoose before was because it's a version exclusive. So growing up, we had Sapphire, so instead of Zangoose, we had Seviper, and funny enough, I never used Seviper either. But yeah, that's why, nothing crazy. I just couldn't use it. In any case, I think it's gonna hit hard but be very fragile, which I don't mind. For Swablu, I actually tried using one before, but before I could actually use it for battle, it was awful to train. I maybe trained it for about 2 levels and was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. So I'm actually not sure how good it really is, so I don't have any expectations, but nothing Rare Candies can't fix. But with new members, that means 2 of our Pokemon are gonna go to the Doom Dimension. Gummy Bear, you will be forgotten, and Shed Ninja, you're too broken, but thank you. Not too long after, Franklin evolved into Pelipper. With that, we have some story to do, so let's speedrun this. We head to Meteor Falls, talk about something, pick up a Moonstone, and then go up a mountain using a cable car. After that, we fight some grunts where we fight the boss of Team Magma, Maxie, for the first time, and this is how it went. With Beautyfly, we take out Mighty Yana with Stun Spore and a bunch of Mega Drains. His next Pokemon is Camerupt, and with 2 Water Guns, we knock him out. His last Pokemon is Golbat, and they go first using Wing Attack while we use Water Gun, not doing much. So we switch into Patrick and land a Yawn before going down to an Astonish. With Golbat asleep, we send out Turbo Floyd and use Swords Dance and Quick Attack to knock them out, winning the fight. And honestly, that went better than expected. I think having Franklin really makes these fights way easier, since something is always weak to water types, so I guess it's okay. But other than that, the rest of our team did good. With that, we head to Lava Ridge Town where we can fight our next gym leader, Flannery. We send out Turbo Floyd, and with no power up, we just start spamming Slash until we take out both of our Slugmas. But when she sends out Turcoil, we tried using Quick Attack, but it did nothing, and Overheat absolutely wrecked us. So after that, we send out Beautyfly and use Stun Spore before going down to another Overheat. We send out Gummy Bear and use Supersonic, and they hit themselves. Next turn, we use Pound and we get hit with a crit Body Slam. What happened? But we get revenge as we send out Franklin and use Water Gun to win the fight. And that was something else. I mean, Turbo Floyd went crazy. But that boosted Overheat was brutal. Beautyfly landed that Stun Spore, potentially stopping Turcoil from moving. So that was nice, even though it never happened. But man, Gummy Bear... It's not going as well as I hope. It does like 2 damage and gets really unlucky. I didn't show it, but during that Maxie fight, I sent out Gummy Bear and used Rock Smash and it did nothing. And then here it gets hit with a crit, so it's rough. Now that we've beaten the gym, we level up and evolve Patrick into Swalot and Hilda to Delcatty. With that, we backtrack to Petalburg City to face our dad, the gym leader, Norman. And for the first time ever, for me anyway, we beat Norman with ease. We send out Patrick, use Yawn, and then switch into Turbo and get in for free as they can't move. Next turn, they sleep, causing us to use 2 Swords Dance and then spam Slash like there was no tomorrow to win the fight. And I never smiled so hard. I'm usually here for a good 2 hours and finally we catch a break. That 2 Swords Dance and then Slash combo is crazy. Now that we've been in the gym, we can get the HM Surf, and this alone makes our Pokemon way better, as we could get 2 really cool TMs. So even if I never got to use it my first time playing these games, maybe someone else can. Alright, so if we talk to Watson, who's right in the middle of town in Marvel City, he tells us to help him out with turning off the generator at the underground sector. So if we surf near the bike trail, we can get inside New Marvel and turn off the generator, and then talk to him again and he gives us the Thunderbolt. Once we get to the abandoned ship, we find a storage key to open up a room to get Ice Beam. I was actually mind blown that they give you this stuff if you just actually explore around. We also taught Ice Beam the truth so it can really hold its own now. On our way to Fortress City, we find Team Magma causing trouble at the Weather Institute, so we go in there, beat up a bunch of grunts, and save the workers, and once we leave, we run into May again, who wants to battle, and this is how it went. With Beauty Flag, we use Stun Spore and Mega Drain to knock out Whelmer. Her next Pokemon is Combuskin, and we use Stun Spore while they use Bulk Up twice. After that, we get taken out by Peck, so we send out Franklin and use Surf to knock them out. Her last Pokemon is Shroomish, and with 2 wing attacks, we win the fight. Now that's how it was supposed to go the first time. So now that we're in Fortress City, it turns out something is blocking the way to the gym, so we start wandering around until we find Steven and he helps us figure out what's going on. So he gives us some goggles, we use them once and then never use them again. With that, we go to the gym to face Winona. And Hilda was not playing around. Using a bunch of Thunderbolts, we take out Swellow, Pelipper, and Skarmory without too much trouble. We did take some damage, so when Altaria comes out, they knock out Hilda with an Aerial Ace. We send out Truth Magnum and start spamming Ice Beam, and we were actually able to get them to use a potion and get them back to half health before going down to a Dragon Breath. We send out Turbo Floyd and get hit with Earthquake that did a little bit more than half, while we use Crush Claw, leaving them on red HP. We did lower their defense, but it didn't matter as they used a Hyper Potion. Next turn, we were only able to land another Slash before going down to an Aerial Ace. We sent out Patrick, and I totally forgot they can use Earthquake, and we almost paid for it. But we live with 9 HP and land a Sludge, but it wasn't enough, and next turn, we go down. After that, we sent out Franklin and use Surf to knock them out, winning the fight. That went from being super easy to almost getting our whole team wiped. My goodness. Them Hyper Potions and them boosted moves are no joke. But I will say, teaching Hilda Thunderbolt was the right choice. Not only did we take a couple hits, we took out 3 of her Pokemon no problem. Yeah, she's definitely becoming one of my favorites. And like I said, Turbo Floyd was gonna hit hard but be very fragile, so it's a shame we didn't get to do more. With that, we head to Lily Cove City where we fight May for the last time, and it was rough. They had a strategy where they would spam Double Team, get hit and immediately use Endeavor, so we would be at the same HP as them, and since they use Double Team, we would miss and they use Wing Attack to knock us out and wipe our whole team. That was wild. We try again and we made sure that didn't happen. After losing Turbo, we send out Patrick and use Yawn, stopping it from doing the same strategy. So we send out Hilda and use Thunderbolt to knock them out. Her next Pokemon is Combuskin, and after using Stun Spore and going down, we send out Franklin and use Surf to knock them out. Her next Pokemon was Whelmer, and we did get hit with a crit Water Pulse, but we live and use 2 Thunderbolts to knock them out. Her last Pokemon was Shroomish, so we sent out Truth and used 2 Ice Beams to win the fight. And honestly, the rival fights in these games aren't that good, but this time around, I really enjoyed it. I just felt like I actually struggled for once. Other than that, Patrick actually is more useful than I thought, as John has come in handy so many times. It also stopped May from wiping our team using that Endeavor and Wing Attack combo, so it's safe to say Patrick can hang. With that, we got some more story to do, so let's speedrun this. Team Magma is currently at Mount Pyre, so we head there, fight some grunts, confront Maxie, where he steals some orb and dips. We chase after him and it turns out he's at Slayport City and takes a submarine and he leaves again. For some reason he tells us where he's at, so we head to Lily Cove to where their hideout is, and now we can go through this weird puzzle, find the Master Ball along the way, and then fight Tabitha as Maxie gets away. Well, not much we can do now. So in the meantime, we went looking for a Shuppet and we had no luck. I swear you could find one on Route 121 or Mount Pyre, but nothing. I was so confused. I had to search up where to find Shuppet and it turns out it's on top of Mount Pyre. After that, we find one really easily and we name him Jamie Hater. The reason why I never used one before was because at this point in the game, I already had a full team and didn't feel like training another Pokemon. So it was just a Pokemon that was a bit too late for me to actually use. In any case, I think it'll be very useful for the next gym and also for one of the Elite Four members, but I really don't know how it's gonna go, so I'm a little concerned. Anyways, we make it to Moss Deep City, and one thing that always gets me is the puzzle for the gym. I remember playing this game for the first time in years and being so lost, but nothing a little YouTube can't fix. After a while, we evolve Jamie Hater and then face Tate and Liza. They send out Lunatone and Solrock as we send out Hilda and Jamie Hater. We use Feint Attack on Solrock, but we barely put a dent as they set up a sunny day. Lunatone uses Psychic, leaving Jamie with red HP, while we use Feint Attack on Solrock, doing a good amount of damage. Next turn, we use Feint Attack again, but it wasn't enough and Lunatone used Psychic to take out Jamie. We send out Franklin and then Hilda gets hit with Flamethrower, doing massive damage. Next turn, they heal and then use Psychic to take out Hilda. After that, we send out Truth Magnum while also using Surf, but since Sunny Day is up, it doesn't do enough damage. And this right here is when I knew I was screwed. We kept trying again and again, but we end up getting put to sleep and they set up another Sunny Day, and after that, they take down our Pokemon one by one to lose the fight. Yikes, that was pretty bad, and I also don't want to go to the level cap as the next gym leader is only like 2 levels different, so we could possibly over level while trying to get to the next area. We also have the problem of Hilda not doing enough damage even though we have a super effective move. And while Jamie does decent damage, it's just not fast enough. We also can't KO Solrock before it sets up a Sunny Day, making Franklin useless and the rest of our team just can't do much. So I don't know how we're going to get out of this one, so we keep trying again and again, sending out different combinations, and it actually didn't take long for this run to happen. We send out Hilda and Patrick and use Shadow Ball on Solrock while Lunatone uses Calm Mind. Solrock uses Psychic on Hilda, which couldn't have gone any better as we land a Toxic on Solrock. Next turn, we use Shadow Ball again while they use Psychic to take out Patrick. So we send out Franklin and of course they set up a Sunny Day. Next turn, for some reason they didn't heal and we use Shadow Ball to knock them out. But I ain't complaining. After that, Lunatone uses Psychic to take out Franklin. We send out Truth and use Sing and it lands, putting Lunatone to sleep. So after that, we start jumping Lunatone using Shadow Ball and Ice Beam until we finally win. I will say it was so annoying trying to take down Lunatone as they healed 3 times, but I guess it's fine because they never woke up. Now that we've beaten the gym, we head to Steven's house where he gives us dives, so now we can go underwater, where I realized I don't have a Pokemon that can learn it. So we fish around and find a Pokemon that can learn it, and soon enough we find an entrance underwater where we find the submarine Maxie was on. So we look around the seafloor cavern, solve some puzzles, and then solve some more puzzles where we find Groudon sleeping, where Maxie comes in and challenges us to a battle for the last time. And I'm not gonna lie, he actually put up a fight as Mightyena used Swagger on Turbo Floyd, confusing him, making him hit himself, and then use Takedown to KO us. We send out Hilda and use Attract, but they still manage to move, harshly lowering our speed and also using Swagger, confusing us. But after taking us to half health, we use Thunderbolt to knock them out. He sends out Crobat and uses Wing Attack while we hit ourselves, getting KO'd. We send out Truth, but we get confused and eventually we go down. So we send out Franklin and the same thing happens, but we manage to use 2 Surfs to knock him out. His last Pokemon is Camerupt and we use Surf again to win the fight. I think his Pokemon were more annoying than anything. The Swagger be having me on a chokehold. There's nothing I hate more than being confused and hitting ourselves every turn. Other than that, Truth hasn't done too much, but we still don't know how well it can do as it did get confused. After the fight, Maxie still awakens Groudon, but it didn't go as planned as it's way too hot outside, so now we gotta save the world, and as we leave the sea, we meet up with Steven, who tells us that we should head to Sutopolis City. So we head there, meet Steven again and Wallace, And now we can find Groudon again, catch him, save the world, and now we can face our last gym leader, Wallace. And again, this puzzle makes me so mad because as soon as you mess up, you have to face a bunch of trainers, and it's just brutal. Like, I'm just trying to face the gym. Is that really a crime? With that, we face Wallace, and they go first using Sweet Kiss that confused us, but we still land a yawn. Next turn, they use Water Pulse, but we still managed to use Sludge and poison them before we could put them to sleep. I didn't know that was possible, and that kinda sucks, but it's fine. Anyways, they use Water Pulse while we use another Sludge, and we almost knocked them out, but it didn't matter as the poison finished them off. They sent out Wish Cash, so we switch into Truth, and we go in for free as they used Earthquake, but it didn't work. Next turn, we put them to sleep using Sing and then switch into Turbo, but they woke up and used Amnesia. After that, we use a Swords Dance and then a Crit Slash to knock them out. After that, we start spamming Slash to KO Celio and almost Seaking, but they land a Horn Drill to knock us out. We send out Jamie Hater and use Nightshade to finish them off. His last Pokemon is Milotic, and they go first using Ice Beam, but we somehow live with 1 HP and land a Nightshade before going down. We send out Patrick and get hit with another Ice Beam, but it didn't do much and we land a Toxic. After that, we were able to land Sludge before going down to a Twister, so we send out Truth and use Dragon Breath to try and knock them out, but it didn't do much and we get KO'd by Ice Beam. Next turn, we send out Franklin and the poison finally did enough damage to knock them out, winning the fight. That did not go as planned. I thought for sure we were only going to use Hilda, Franklin, and Patrick, but no, it turns out we needed almost everyone. We never ended up using Franklin to battle, so that was interesting. And as we fight more and more, I realized that I was dead wrong and we actually use Patrick a lot. I definitely like it more now than I did when we first started, and I do find it a little lame that it doesn't know much moves, but at the same time, when it has Yawn and Toxic, does it really need anything else? And I didn't think I was going to use Turbo as much as we did in this fight, but we put in that work as we got rid of all their potions before going down. Okay, so now that we're about to face the league, I looked through our team and realized some of our Pokemon had some horrendous stats. I'm talking at level 40, it had a stat total of 65 in special attack. What are we supposed to do with that? I'm not calling any names here, Hilda, but we got some work to do. So I spent a couple days EV training our Pokemon, and all I gotta say is grinding for attack and special defense sucks so bad. But this video is long enough, so let's skip this and head to Victory Road. We make it there no problem, and as we were about to leave, Wally comes up and challenges us for the last time, so we battle. And it was terrible, for him anyway. We had Turbo out and we either had a counter to his Pokemon or we just spammed Slash to eventually win the fight, so yeah. He went out sad again. With that, we head to the Elite Four where we face our first member, Sydney, and this is how it went. We send out Turbo and use Swords Dance while they use Sand Attack. But that's where they messed up as we use a Brick Break and Aerial Ace to wipe their whole team alone. Now that's wild. Who said he could be that broken? Like, I knew he was gonna be good, but it really started to show what it could do later in the game. So I'm not gonna lie, I might have to ban this move after this run because that's too crazy. Our next Elite Four member is Phoebe, and it was not as easy. We send out Patrick and use Toxic while they use Supersonic. So we send out Jamie and get hit with Curse, so we switch again, but this time into Hilda. And since she's a normal type, Shadow Punch didn't work, and next turn they use a full restore, causing Toxic to go away, and now they're at full HP again. So we use Calm Mind and start spamming Shadow Ball until we finally knock them out. Her next Pokemon is Banette, and we use another Shadow Ball, but it didn't do nearly enough, and we get hit with Feint Attack and a feature sight that Dusclops used before going down. Next turn, we do it again, and they live with 1 HP as they land a Spite. So thinking that they will heal, we use another Calm Mind where they didn't heal and used Will-O-Wisp instead. So not only did we guess wrong, but we paid for it as we get burned. But we still managed to take them down. Her next Pokemon is Sableye, and we use Shadow Ball, and we barely did anything. After that, we pretty much go down. So now, I really don't know what it's weak against, so I just sent out Franklin and used Surf to see what it can do, and it did so much damage as we leave them on 1 HP. We do it again and we almost knocked them out, but they use a crit Shadow Ball to knock us out. We We sent out Truth, but we couldn't do enough damage and they used a full restore. But after that, we used 2 more Dragon Breaths to knock them out. Our last Pokemon is Dusclops, and we used Sing to put them to sleep, and after that we started spamming a bunch of flamethrowers, but it wasn't enough and they wake up and use Ice Beam to knock us out. But it all worked out as they didn't heal, and since Jamie is faster, we used Shadow Ball to win the fight. And now I just have questions. First of all, what is Sableye weak against, as Shadow Ball didn't do anything? And why did Surf do so much damage? That also was mind-blowing. In any case, I didn't think I was gonna send out Franklin, but out of a whim, we sent her out and she did amazing. I guess, and I mean I guess, she isn't that bad. Like, yeah, she has her moments, but I'll never forget. Also, Hilda held her own, as I definitely didn't think she was gonna last as long as she did, so yeah. She's pretty solid. The next Elite Four member is Glacia, and this is how it went. After we put them to sleep using Yawn, we sent out Turbo Flood, and I'm sure you know where this is going. With a Swords Dance and Brick Break combo, we almost wiped their whole team without any problems until Walrein came out. They lived the Brick Break with 1 HP and used a Crit Blizzard to knock us out. After that, we tried using Franklin to knock them out, but Shockwave didn't do enough and they kept healing. So after a while, we go down. We send out Hilda, and with 1 Thunderbolt, we win the fight, and again, Turbo went bonkers. That's the second time he's done that to an Elite Four member. I can't believe that actually happened. Not much else to say, but Franklin still doesn't hit that hard even after doing some special training. But overall, it's been a solid Pokemon and it's got the job done, so it's not that bad. With that, we fight the last Elite Four member, Drake, and with Truth, we almost wiped our whole team using Ice Beam on Shelgon, Altaria, and 2 Flygons before Salamence came out and used a Dragon Claw to take us down. So we send out Patrick and get hit with Flamethrower as we land a Toxic. Next turn, we switch into Franklin, but before we could do anything, we get taken down by another Dragon Claw. We send out Hilda, and again, before we can make a move, we get taken down. So we send out Jamie and get hit with Crunch, but surprisingly, we live and use Thunderbolt, but it wasn't enough, and they eat a berry, surviving the poison. So next turn, they fully heal, curing the poison and also knocking us out. We send out Patrick and the same thing happens. They use Flamethrower while we use Toxic, but next turn we go down to a Dragon Claw. We send out Turbo and use Slash, doing massive damage, leaving them with red HP, while they use Fly, going up in the sky. Poison still couldn't finish them off, so we use Slash, but we miss, and they use Fly, doing a good chunk of damage, but the Poison finally does enough damage and they go down and we win the fight. Now that was a twist. We went from one-shotting his whole team to him sending out Salamence and doing the same thing. That's the definition of having a one-man army. In any case, Truth was putting in some crazy work, pretty much taking out his whole team. Also, Patrick is by far one of the most useful Pokemon I've ever used, and I only thought it was gonna help in certain situations, but it's proven in any situation, it comes through. And the craziest part was that I didn't even EV train her, so we just naturally ate those flamethrowers. Patrick is definitely a Pokemon that I love now. Also, Turbo Fluid has been really good since we got him, and yeah, he had some downsides like going down after 1 or 2 hits, but hitting hard definitely makes up for it. This time, we didn't use Swords Dance and we still did a crazy amount of damage. With that, we can face the champion of the Hoenn League, Steven, and I'm not gonna lie, we are about to get whooped. We sent out Hilda and used Thunderbolt on Skarmory, but it wasn't enough and they used Toxic, but somehow they miss and we use another Thunderbolt to knock them out. His next Pokemon is Armaldo, so we switch into Franklin and almost paid for it as they use Ancient Power, almost knocking us out. But next turn, we go first using Surf to knock them out. His next Pokemon is Claydol, and we use Surf, and they barely live with 1 HP while they set up a light screen, raising their special defense. Next turn, they heal, but we still do a good amount of damage as we leave them with a little less than half. So next turn, they go down with another Surf. He sends out Credilli, and I didn't know what it was weak against, but all I know is that it's part grass, so I just threw a wing attack at them, and it did like 5 damage, and then we get taken down by Ancient Power. So no, they're not weak against flying. We We sent out Truth and used Ice Beam that didn't do nearly enough, and we get hit with Confuse Ray. That's when it popped up that Light Screen went away and realized that the reason why we didn't do that much damage was because of that. Another Ice Beam later and we knocked him out. His next Pokemon is Aggron, so we use Sing to put them to sleep and then switch into Turbo and use Swords Dance and then Brick Break to one-shot them. His last Pokemon is Metagross, and we use another Brick Break while they use Meteor Mash, almost taking us down. So we use another Brick Break to leave them on red HP before getting taken out by Hyper Beam. We sent out Jamie, and that's when Metagross used a Citrus Berry that did just enough that it wouldn't use a potion. And also giving us a free turn because a Hyper Beam needs an extra turn to recharge. So with Shadow Ball, we knocked them out, winning the fight and becoming the new champion. If you like this video and want to see more stuff like this, like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel. And until next time, have a great day. See ya.